Donna, 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 Donna. Hello. I'm assuming that's you. Yeah, it is. It
Hello.
is. Hello, Donna. Hello, Donna. How are you? How are you? I slept much better, by the way. I hope you slept better too.
I'm glad you did.
Oh, you didn't? You didn't? Ah, dang it, man. Ah, bugger it. Oh, well. I know I really am setting the intent and really making an effort to sleep better because shit, man, I've been really struggling with the sleep. So this is like the best energy day I've had for ages, So
Yay. Good.
yeah, and it's still not near what it could be, and where it needs to be. So, but anyway, little by little, we're getting there, little by little. So, how are you right now, Donna?
Relaxed.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. Good. Okay. All right. Good. 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 And you surely you're not just getting home now, right?
Yeah, I'm just getting home.
Well, no, not from work. I mean, or from work.
Well, I came home and then I ate something real quick and then I went and worked out and I just got home.
Ah, I got you. Okay. I was gonna say, man, because otherwise that's a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Very cool. Very cool. And just before we get going on all the stuff, I just want to kind of double check and see, in terms of things at work, are kind of okay for you as much as they can be.
Yeah, works good.
Ah, okay. Okay. I mean, not anything specifically there. Sometimes when stuff isn't okay, they're actually kind of huge opportunities for application. Not that we wish them to be, just saying, that there is sometimes that where you can get specific, even if it's not a big problem, just little things sometimes. They're very useful for connecting to stuff. You don't ever watch a lot of TV, or in the past, have you ever?
In the past, I used to. I haven't watched TV for like, I don't even know, 5 years. I don't think I've had.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm looking for an anime series, and I thought it was called something of the Sun, Children of the Sun, Empire of the Sun. I don't know, something of the Sun. It had some sun in it somewhere, and it was a Japanese based, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but anyway, every now and then they had like Native American stuff, like they would talk to a shaman and stuff like that. It was a very cool series, very involved, very spiritual series, almost like a myth, like this big extended myth. You kind of felt like you were inside of a dream, and I'm kind of trying to remember the name of it. I don't know if that rings a bell for you or not.
No,
No.
that wouldn't have been something I think I would have watched unless I was with one of my kids. Although it does sound like something my children would watch.
Right, right. I mean, but it was a sophisticated show, even though yes, it was, something that you.
No, yeah, I know. It was sophisticated. My son and my youngest specifically would have watched something like that.
Interesting. All right, cool. Anyway, I'm busy searching for it on an anime site. You can do it by the years. So I'm looking through the stuff from
Why
the
are you looking for?
90s and the 80s. What's that?
Why?
I was talking to Rachel about it now. I kind of wanted she and Sher. Well, she specifically said that they watch stuff uh, uh, like stuff that has Native American stuff in it. So this was just and Rachel watches a lot of the anime, and so it just was a powerful series. So I just wanted to recommend it for them, so that's why I'm kind of going through it. So not anything critical. All right, so in terms of just the overallness of things, um, that, you know, where, or like in the letter you were expressing, there's like a lot of stuff going on. So if we go to that and we say, all right, let's take all of that and kind of shape it down, because that's all endpoint stuff. Where would be the starting point to give that foundation?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. But you see what I'm getting at, though. If we can take all of that and say, "Whoa, wait a minute, let's refine this into something that has, you know, a core foundational thing that one can build on," and to say, "Okay, let's go with that. Let's build on this, and then keep building on that, and then to flesh out something that, you know, that then you have a stable core that you're building on." And you know, that gives us that we don't get so lost in the overview stuff. Then we can just keep building and building and not get lost in all of that overview stuff. Yeah. What do you
Sounds
think?
reasonable.
All right. Hang on. Let me get back to your. I'll have to come back to this. Let's see. All right. Let's get focused here. Let me get focused. So in the email, there's a lot of stuff in the email. It's a very cool email. You're right. Really fantastic emails, by the way. You know that.
No.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, you put a lot into them, and they really connect. And you know, one hears your heart. Is that not cool?
Well, I'm glad.
Oh,
Yeah. No, I do know. That I was in the flow this morning.
gotcha.
It was like my heart was heavy, but
Yeah,
it was flowing. So
yeah, yeah. Really, your heart was heavy, Donna?
yeah.
Oh man. All right. Um, what specifically was making your heart heavy? I didn't quite feel that so much from the email. I'll go through it in a minute. Yeah, I just want to hear on this, Donna.
Yeah.
What specifically was making your heart heavy? Because it feels like it's still a little bit heavy, yeah?
A little bit.
So what was making it heavy this morning? Just tiredness?
I have been really, really, and it's very unusual for me to feel this low energy.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of times in conversations, people will say, you have control over your thoughts, and this is only one life, and you're the creator and the author of your life, and stay positive and be in the moment. And I get all that. But sometimes I just feel as though there's like this energy that comes at me that sort of zaps mine.
Yeah.
Try to
Yeah.
identify what's different. Like, okay, are my thoughts different? No. Is my diet different? No. Is my activity level different? No. Am I not exercising? No. Am I staying positive? So I go through this checklist and trying to identify,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm unsure of why I feel so drained. And then sometimes it feels as though I can really connect at a abstract level, and none of this is real, and we're just actors in a game. And when you talk about different realms, there's a spiritual realm. And sometimes I wonder if, like, that intensive weekend, we didn't tap into a spiritual realm, and you can get kind of messed up with. I don't feel as though all spirits are friendly and kind. And
No, they aren't. Definitely not.
so I don't know. I just I have these waves that come at me, and I'd like to say that I can control them. I know I need to, um, but I guess the whole thing of the city and what I was trying to articulate in the email is, I think there's just a whole dimension of reality out there that I tap into and then I
Yeah.
tap out of.
Yeah.
And for me, that's very frustrating
Yeah.
because I don't fully understand what's going on, and I'm trying to be deliberate, and I
Ah,
have intermittent success with that. And I can't really identify, to date anyway, some things. And like, if I am the author of my life and the creator of things, and I am the universe, and I am powerful, and nothing's impossible, that begs the question for me, okay, then in looking at my world, why is everything that is some things I care deeply about, why are those like flipped upside down too? Not only are they not manifesting in my life, they seem flipped upside down.
Yeah.
So what is it? Why am I not being able to obtain the results? And it's not even personal agendas. It's like I've shared with you, I'd like to have a bigger space to like have workshops. And
Yeah.
if that's a house, it's a house. If not,
Yeah.
so when I say I'd like a bigger house, it's not to keep up with the Joneses like we
No, no,
talked
no,
about.
no. Of course not. Of course not.
But then other people then like
Ah,
I'll think that all week, and then I'll see somebody in my inner circle and they tell me, "Oh, I got this great
yeah.
house."
I know. I
So
know. I know.
I'm happy for them.
I hear you. I hear you on this stuff. I hear you. Sorry. Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
I
And
know.
like in your text that I have to own who I am and I'm divine and I'm an angel and all that. It doesn't really.
Yeah, I don't actually mean it like that. Yes, I know it says, may have said that in that way, but I don't really mean it in that way. I kind of mean it in a little bit of a different way. I mean it in a way that it's a way of personal power, not so much the divine, but simply that if we fully own ourselves, when somebody looks at you, they say, "Oh, here's somebody who's got their shit together." That's what I really mean by claiming yourself, claiming the fullness of yourself. To say, hey, I actually do have my shit together. And to get to that point, it's not about necessarily divine. Yes, that will come as a consequence of that, but that's not really the step. The step is just where somebody, and in your everyday life, it's like, hey, I got my shit together, and I'm not egotistical about this. I'm not arrogant about it. I'm not better, worse. No, I just got my shit together. And yes, this is a better state than what I was in most of my life, and it's definitely a state that's different to what most of just I see around me. It's not better or worse, it just is what it is. And to own that, because that's very difficult to own, to be in a position where objectively, yes, you are in a better state, but you can't obviously push that out as an attitude, but objectively you absolutely are. So this is the claiming of the fullness, and this is very difficult to do.
Why is it difficult to do? I totally feel that.
Because we are so programmed to not be better than others. We're so programmed to be honest, to be, I'm sorry, modest and humble. And we are so programmed not to make others feel bad. But this is the point. Us being in control of ourselves and in charge of ourselves, and owning our and feeling empowered, it does not have to make others feel shit. Some might that are jackasses, but in general, people are, oh, cool, you got your shit together, and they just like it and enjoy you. We don't hold it against somebody. I don't know, take whatever, your pick of celebrity or movie star or somebody. Oh, they got this shit together and you hate them for it. No, you don't. I don't know. It's hard to find examples of people like this, but you take your pick of somebody that you might think has their shit together. But us as individuals, we're very programmed for it because we have centuries of DNA where in us, where we've been programmed to not rise up and be special, not to be different, not to be have your shit together, to basically be a slave and a serf and all of the shit. So that's why it's difficult. You have to go against all your programming. I do want to switch to something else here. And I don't know, in your current energy mood state, I'm not sure if it's kind of like, I don't know, heavy stuff in a way. So, but you're all right. It's
I'm all
about
right.
that flyer, about the energy sucking thing. So I don't know, maybe this is the time for it because it connects to the low energy. So, um, but that's the objective. So when I say the divine and all that more, yes, okay, that's part of it. It's part of the same spectrum. But first, we need to get our shit together and really feel it. And this is the point that I work on every day. I don't know. It's like, man, I work on it and it pulls me back. So if I like just feel things, especially here now lately, it's been like I'm feeling like right now I don't feel anything here, nothing. Right, my face is just kind of normal. I don't have a particular mood, maybe a little bit of mood here in my chin, but you can't see it. So I'm just trying to think now, just trying to see how I can demonstrate this to you. It's very difficult to even explain. Um, but as I go inside, and it's literally like I'm taking my mind and I'm placing it in different space. My awareness, not my mind. I'm placing my awareness and my feel ability in different spaces of my body. So if I put it, for instance, I just have to kind of feel it and let it come. And you see now, I feel my lips here. I kind of feel like they sort of. I don't know if you can see close enough. They sort of kind of pulling themselves in a little bit. Now, it's not me doing it. They just have a natural kind of a pull tension, like I'm pursing my lips a little bit, which is a kind of a mood and an attitude that has nothing to do with me. It's just there for whatever the hell bloody reason. And now when I start to focus on that, and the more I get really inside that, it's like it's very suppressed, and I not feel like now I don't feel it. I have to really focus on it. Then I start to feel it. And then when I get into that, then it sort of unlocks, and it kind of releases, and then other stuff will connect from that, will release. But like, yeah, I've been feeling it right in this little corner here, like a little kind of contraction like that. And it's like, now I don't feel anything at all. I just feel normal right now. But when I start to focus on it, it's like, man, what the hell is this? It's like, I don't know if you can do it with drugs, but drugs will release things. But if you could have a drug that does the opposite of anesthetizing, kind of contracting, that's kind of what it is. It's really weird. It's like a little mini attitude pocket. It's really puzzling to me. But then I focus on that, and then it starts to go, and then it changes all. Then it connects to other parts, and then it changes the body. And it's just the most phenomenal thing. So does any of what I'm saying have any resonance with you in any way at all?
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, I have to really pay attention and really go inside it. And like, especially if I focus on the back of my neck, in this kind of hollow in the back spot of your head there, the jawline, the tip, and the chin. For me, the lips especially have a particular sensitivity. My top lip is very sensitive to hot water or steam. Like, I can't go in a sauna easily. My lip is just too sensitive for the sauna. It's very unpleasant on my lip. My rest of my body, no problem, but on my lip, same when in the shower too. Like, I have to be very careful with the water. I can't, it's no problem, can be very hot, but even mildly hot. So I don't know. Just very unusual. So, but when you start to focus in on those particular tensions, you discover that, yes, shit that you don't feel normally, but it's there. And then we start to unlock those, and those, when you unlock those, they start to unlock other things, and it kind of releases energy. And I think that's what I was talking about, that we store stuff in the body, and I don't want to be storing all this shit. Oh no, thank you very much. It was appropriate at the time, whenever that time was, that this particular attitude is, and sometimes I feel like I'm going all the way back to the feel and attitude of when I was a baby or a child, you know what I mean? Because I don't have a complaining attitude. I've never ever had a complaining attitude. Never. I was always very uncomplaining actually about anything. Even when I should have complained, I never did. But yet sometimes I feel that complaint face, like of a baby's complaint face. So I don't know if this is stuff that comes from your DNA or just locked in from literally way back then. But hey, it affects me, and I got to deal with it. And also, with having permanent tonsillitis, my face and body and neck has shifted around that. So I'm really trying to focus right in and feel those tonsils, because that's also a source of power. I don't know if you've ever felt that feeling where you feel right here in the throat, and it's a very empowering feeling. It's very hard to describe the stuff because it's a feeling, of course. But it's really a different feeling when you really connect to that. For instance, I don't know if it's for you maybe or not, but I've seen it in people where when they're feeling empowered and they're feeling kind of determined and like have that, I can do anything kind of a feeling about them, you can kind of see it, that it's here in this part of the arm down here. You can see they've got a particular feeling in their arms right here. So I don't know if you're familiar with that or not. That feeling in the arms, right there, the empowered feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Does it resonate with you, that feeling, or no?
Yeah, no, yes, it does.
Okay.
It's weird you said that because I was
Oh, okay. So
I
then
was
you.
just looking at that part of my arm like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, wow, interesting, interesting. All right, so if you know that feeling, right, like you've had that feeling before, but you can't necessarily call up that feeling in the arm right now, this minute, maybe, yes?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, you can.
But
Wow, wow, that's very cool. So this is part of the exercise then. For me, yes, I know that feeling, but I have to kind of work at calling it back. So this is
yeah.
part of the meditation is to develop the ability to deliberately call up and implement and institute and feel those types of feelings, like this feeling here in the arm of being empowered, and the feeling of will down here in the abdomen, and this feeling of empoweredness in the throat, in specifically around about the tonsils or the voice box. It's a very particular spot. And in the jawline, the eyes, like I call these the Eastwood points, like Clint Eastwood points. These are
Mhm.
very powerful power points. If you can feel them, like that's why he was so successful, because he really felt that point, and you feel him feeling it. And it's a very powerful mood that comes from these Eastwood points. So different points do different things. The Eastwood points are very, very nice examples. I kind of forgot about them. I'm glad I remembered now, to illustrate what I'm meaning, because you can so clearly see it. I mean, it's like every single movie's got the same look and vibe going, right? It never varies from it, essentially. But when one can see, though, you can kind of put on an Eastwood face and it changes how you feel, right?
Mhm.
But now we don't want to do it. Here's the key, though. We don't want to do this in a like an acting way where you actually literally change your muscles to do it. We want to do it from inside as an intent, as a pure mental exercise, where because now it comes from inside you, and it's a very different thing when we do it to kind of feel, think it, intend it, because now it's more real. It's not superficial, and it becomes you, and you can own it and be it, not just have it on the surface. Very big difference. Because when you really get into these different feelings and ways of being in your physical body, you are being it. You are not putting it on the surface. It's not an act. You're for real doing it. And it's just a practice. It's just an exercise. And it's a way to shift our ways of being in a very, very, very profound way. It's really huge. I mean, this is like mood shifting at the ultimate level. You're actually reprogramming the body on the basic root, kind of cellular, physical, muscle, whatever feeling, mood level. You're not just tacking stuff on the top. You're doing it from the inside out, which is a very, very different deal. That's why people go to seminars and things and whatever, and they get a mood, but it gets latched onto the top. And the underlying shit that's there, that's always been there, that I'm talking about, those things that are locked in the body, they're still there. And this is just an overlay. And we keep doing this. We keep overlaying, keep overlaying, keep overlaying. No, we need to take this stuff and go bypass all the overlay stuff and start applying it from the inside and take those residual tensions. And it's not necessarily just about releasing them, it's about repurposing them, not replacing, but repurposing. The same tension, like we said, it can be aggression, can be determination, you know what I mean? Or stress can be determination. It's just a slight tweak. So when we start to repurpose these, and sometimes it's a replacement, and sometimes it's just a release, it's kind of a mixture of all of them. But when we start to re-intend our bodies deliberately, it's a very, very profound deal. It's a very, very profound thing. So um, it's difficult to talk about because it's such an internal feeling thing. But I suspect if you were to actually do this as a meditation, to sit, okay, I'm really going to just feel the spots on my body. Because, and now this is a peculiar thing though, like these spots on your arm here. Now, like I said, maybe you could feel them directly, but just in generally, at least for me in my body, I don't, I don't feel the energy in the specific different parts of the body directly. I mean, yes, I know I feel my body, it's there, but not in that same way. Like if you were to shine a heat lamp right on the spot, I'm feeling something very different there, right? And again, when we have particular feelings and moods like that kind of empowered mood, you have a very distinct feeling in your arms back there. So and two, when you're feeling kind of proud, it's a very particular type of a physical feeling, right?
Right.
So this is the key. It's to be able to deliberately take your mind, your awareness, and your intent, and to feel the body in all of its different parts deliberately, not to wait until it comes from the outside, but to go internally feel them. Then first, that's the first exercise, actually, to just feel the body. And then it's to start repurposing and re-intending those feelings. And this takes some doing because, well, these are lifetime habits that are built right into it. But it can be done, absolutely. And it becomes, a practice and a habit too, that you get more and more proficient at it. Now, I wish I could tell you I had a simple way to do this quickly. I don't. And I'm very keen for others to start doing this as well, so that we can kind of compare notes and practice, because I really, really feel that if we do start doing this and start sharing and practicing, it's going to have this this exponential collaboration effect that is going to go a lot quicker. Because, man, I've been doing this a long time, and yes, I keep doing it every day and I have progress, but it's slow. So very powerful. So I'm keen to hear if this is something that is of interest to you, to do, because I really feel that, especially in you, your physicality is so potent. I have a feeling, and like you said, I can feel those feelings. Just, I think it's going to be a lot easier for you than it is for me. I really feel that.
I definitely can feel it. And I do meditations where I put my awareness to different parts of my body. And I literally have situations of like heat that's really potent and comes in different areas of my body that's not really explainable. So,
All right. So now, when you put your attention and your awareness and your intent on different parts of the body, have you
yes.
noticed the kind of a consequential knock-on effect? Like let's say for
Yeah.
me, when I release my jaw, my lower back starts to release. My tension in my lower back starts to go, or my neck. So it's like, man, it's completely far removed, and it's just astonishing how you can really be working on one spot and then the rest of the body somehow changes. It's quite incredible how that works. So have you felt that connectivity?
I know I'm not aware of that, but the closest I have to what I feel like you might be talking about is just trying to be deliberate with the flow of energy, like tapping into the energy of where things are in your body. Like there's a sensation that's an energy sensation that feels different than, say, oh, I have a muscle that's sore. You can tell a sore
Right,
muscle
right,
in
right.
your body. This is more like a tapping into like how, I don't know, it is hard to explain, but it's like the energy in certain, and I've been trying to practice how to like deliberately direct energy to things.
There you go. Precisely. And rather than energy, if we start thinking of it as intent, it's a big shift. Yes, it is energy, and there's tension, and one tension holds another tension, and they're all interrelated. So when you release
Right.
one, another one. But when we start to look at this not just as energy interconnected, but as an intent, because we can release that energy, but if the intent is still in us somewhere that produced that initial energy, block, tension, whatever, it just comes back again later. So we have to change the actual intent of that, the root node point, the one that,
Okay. I see what you're saying.
yeah, it's very powerful. It's very important.
That goes back to one of the initial conversations you and I had about my need to express trauma, and explain enough of it to you, because I was wondering if that energy that happens within those circumstances gets trapped in your energy
it does.
bodies.
It does. I
Yeah.
believe it does. Yes.
You remember that
Yeah, I
conversation?
do. Right.
Yeah.
And I do believe at the time I kind of, referenced
You
this.
didn't want to talk about it much.
No, I was other things I wanted to get to first. That's why I want to come back to it. But here's the key, Donna, is that energy that's trapped or locked into the body, that trauma energy, it doesn't have to be experienced again. You just have to feel your body and say, I don't care for this. I want to change it. And then you repurpose it to a different intent. So the let's say the feeling that's in the body is one of resistance, no, 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 and whatever, that can just as well be determination and courage and discipline. And you see, anything can be repurposed into energy. It's just energy. What it is in the end result makes no difference. You can repurpose it into joy if you like. It makes no difference. So we don't have to eliminate it and get rid of it. We can repurpose it. And secondly, we don't have to actually feel it and remember the specific memories. We can just feel, oh, fuck, I don't care for this bloody whatever cockeyed shit this is. Thank you very much. I'm going to shift it to a different intent. That's the key. We don't have to specifically get into the memory part of it. We can just say, no, I don't care for this. Thank you very much. I don't know where this comes from and I don't really care. I'm going to change it. So,
oh, that's cool.
yeah, it's very cool because we are going to the root core. It's like you're going to the hardware, you're opening up your computer and then literally
Right.
open up the chip and they're resoldering the shit down there. You don't have to fix it in the software settings. You can, but it's complicated and takes a long time and shit, with all the shit that we've got in us over the years to go and deal with it on a software basis. That's a big, big job, right?
It has been,
All right.
yes.
So here's the other point, and this is where it started for me. When we were in living in the Aikido dojo as full-time students as Ushideshi, one of the Aikido things was holding one point. I ended up on the wall was holding one point. There's like 4 or 5 kind of key precepts. They never could really tell you what holding one point meant, and I never found out what it meant. And I even went to research it, and from the founder of Aikido, still couldn't find out what the hell he means with one point. But anyway, so I just took it for my own point. Like, so kind of, I liked the idea of it, even though I couldn't find out what it meant. And then it later became my own thing. And this is what I found. And the one point has shifted to various places over the years of doing this exercise. But essentially, I find a point and I really focus on the intent of that point. And then the whole rest of the body starts to change as a result of shifting the intent of that one point. I think probably likely you could pick any freaking point, but some tend to be more of a nexus point. The stuff it goes crisscrosses. So typically
Right.
jaw, mouth, like sometimes the palate, top of the throat, I don't know, they're different points, but obviously this point is likely to be one, back of the head is one. But when you really repurpose and retension that and shift the intent to that one point, it changes the whole body. Now, this is the part that for me is a little bit frustrating in a way. I hold that and I can hold it and I feel the body change and change and change. And man, it gets to like, man, I'm feeling fucking fantastic. But then I don't have enough energy to just snap it into that overbend because I can feel there's still more to go. And then I kind of run out of energy and then it all comes back again. So anyway, I keep doing this. I just figure at some point, at one day, man, it's just going to pop over. I don't know. So. It's very powerful, though. So that holding one point has a significance in that regard. And it sort of makes sense, because the whole body's interconnected. So I pretty much feel like you could pick any point, really, and it would have that. Some points are going to be more potent than others, but I don't think it's a specific, one single point. Any point can be a one point. Some are more conducive to being a one point than others. And who knows, maybe there is a particular spot that is the most potent spot. I don't know. Maybe it's down here in the world or something. I don't know. It's very interesting. But
Well, do
it's
you,
learning. Sorry.
like from an energetic standpoint, your concept of being an energetic being
Yeah.
holds true to you? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So through this process, somehow, as we become more aware and the programming, the conventional, kind of programming, I don't know, that's not the right word, but
Conditioning.
misbeliefs, programming, what would the word be?
Conditioning.
Okay, thank you. Conditioning becomes less and less.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like our bodies
Oh, yeah.
change.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Like
absolutely.
we're holding
Oh,
more of something than we used to.
oh, absolutely. Yes, exactly. That's the point. Absolutely. This is about learning to deliberately feel, capital F, feel, italicized, emphasized, feel.
But what's changing? Like
Intent.
when what is going on inside as the
Intent.
awareness becomes stronger?
Intent. It's a connectivity to feel our intent. and to feel deliberately as an internal outward thing, as opposed to our lifetime habit of feeling coming from shit outside, and we respond
Right.
to it, and that makes us feel. So it's totally reversing this process to deliberately feel as a going out
Well,
process.
does it change your muscles and
Yes, yes.
DNA?
Oh
It
yeah.
changes inside,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Literally the muscles reconfigure, and you can feel them. Sometimes they're like twitter and twitch like that, and then the stuff releases, and you can literally feel like the retensioning of the lines, like you would have no like say tension here in the jaw, and then suddenly it gets that. Look at the Eastwood points, right? If you picture him relaxed like under anesthetic, you wouldn't have that particular tension in the face, right? So it's a very physical change. Oh, absolutely. It changes on the raw physical level, very much so. And here's the key, though. That's the point why I was saying it has to come from deep inside as a mental exercise. It's not like you screwing your face up to look like Clint Eastwood. That helps you bugger all. No, you've got to
Right.
basically be in a meditative state and feel your way into that, and then the body takes on that feeling of its own accord, and literally you will actually feel the muscles and the energy on those points start to change and configure and redeploy. It's quite the incredible thing to realize that just through our mentalness we can actually change the physicality, the actual tension, structure, shape, and everything. I mean, for me, when I get really into this, I feel like my whole face changes. At least that's, I don't know, I have to film myself doing it at some point, I think. But I really feel like literally my face takes on a whole different shape and tension.
And can from a medical standpoint, you like if when they do X-rays or if they were to look at that kind of stuff, can they see the changes going on within your body?
Oh, I would absolutely imagine so. Yeah, because I mean, it might not on the surface appear so, but I could feel physical changes, not mental, emotional changes, but physical
Right.
changes. Oh, absolutely. Oh, hell yeah. I mean, my entire posture. Okay, I'm kind of sitting here like this now, but if I really get into it, my posture would straighten like this. The shoulders drop. My neck actually gets much longer. I mean, and I sometimes will like kind of bump my head into the wall because I'm kind of keep kind of straight. Okay, it's not that much. You kind of creep up a little bit too. But there's definite real physical changes. Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. I mean, this is
So if
very,
you
very
had a
important.
physician that was, very aware of all of this, is there like a medical study of it? Are there
Not that
doctors
I know of.
specialized?
Not
No.
not not that I know of.
See,
No. Um,
that's part of Health Oasis, like that kind of
yeah.
doctor in
Oh,
the city.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Now, a long time back, Olivia and I did Alexander technique. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, basically, they just teach you how to walk, kind of in a nice balanced posture, and you sit in a very specific way. But this is just about energy alignment and balance. So there is an awareness of sort of the starting points, but what I'm talking about, the internal through using your mind, really. But it's not just your mind; it's your mind and your feeling. So your mind feel. That's the only way I can call it. I want to call it heart because it's not your heart. You're using more your down here in your abdomen. This feel, it's intent. It's the only word for it, Donna. It is to use intent directly onto the body, but it's coming not where you are actually like physically saying, okay, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do this. No, that's an act of deliberation. But like I said before, if I have tension, I'll just go back up when my attention is taken elsewhere. This is to change the underlying intent of what causes the tension in the first place, or the mood or the feeling. It is to work literally with the intents that are stored in the body. Whatever
And
tension we have comes from an underlying intent.
okay, so this is like the application of everybody's ability to heal themselves,
Yes, yes, absolutely. Very, very much so.
which
Yes.
I feel very strongly about.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
absolutely. Yeah.
I honestly feel there's opportunity for like age reversing
Oh yeah.
mechanism
Oh,
coming
oh,
in
oh,
as well.
undoubtedly, I feel that is absolutely a part of it. Yes, very much so. Because you are changing the physical intent. I mean, you can feel your blood flow different, your heart
Right.
flows different, your breathing is different, where your
It
energy
seems so.
posture is different. So yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if I use the same technique, I can actually literally feel a pulse, pretty much, like pulsing in any spot of my body. I can,
Yeah.
if I pay attention long enough, I can feel a pulsing spot anywhere, whatever spot you wish to choose. That I learned when I did the relaxing techniques. When I started with my toes and worked through it like that. So just you can literally make like, and it becomes like a hot spot too. In your,
Right.
but I could
Right.
feel like a pulse on the tip of my fingertip, even if I wanted to, or right here. Anyway, you name it, you
Wow.
can feel that. So yeah, so that's, but that's just moving the physicality. I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, so what? Okay, big deal. Now, all right, that might be useful if you have some, like if you start doing it to the organs maybe, or you got some blockage somewhere that you need a bit of blood to go there. I think at some point actual blood flow to specific places might be a good thing. I don't know, but I haven't, I'm not that focused on the medical side of it. So maybe combining with somebody as a medical stuff could say, oh, you know what, yeah, you need more blood flow, yeah, you need less. I don't know, that might be
Well, that's sort of the vision I was given.
right,
These kinds of things that we're talking about
right,
would they fall under the Health Oasis umbrella, and it's very
right,
forward thinking, and it's combining the physicians with the energy
right.
healing
It's
and the
spiritual
shaman
medicine,
and techniques of ancient
right,
people.
right, but taking it into the modern era,
Right,
because
right, right, right.
exactly to take a shamanistic technique and say, okay, let's remove all the woo woo, let's remove all the fuss and the superstition and all this, let's
Right.
get real about it. And there are people that do this. It does exist already. Olivia you got to talk to Olivia about this stuff. She's in the modern medicine stuff and alternative medicines and all this magical stuff. She has a greater, deeper connectivity and knowledge of it.
Mm.
She's into that, so she could definitely tell you more about that than I can. But yeah, I do know of people that specifically study ancient techniques and traditions, and they try to get it into a scientific realm, and they kind of combine the two. They're saying, okay, what's the hard science? Like, why is this working? And they do real tests to see it's not a placebo effect, because a lot of it is placebo effect, stuff like that. No, they're getting actual real results. So yeah, they do. There's a big study of this. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
So, do you feel the connection for me and how it would be beneficial is these waves of energy that come over me, like is a like manifestation of some like energy blockage within the body, and if I were to go through these exercises, it could help sort of release.
So okay, when you say the waves of energy, let me just take this step by step here. So literally, when will these happen? When you're sleeping, lying down, sitting, work, anytime? When
What's that? Waves
the
of
waves of
energy?
energy?
Um, well, the ones that I'm speaking of, I've always had the ability to kind of wave the energy from my body up and down if
Oh,
I intend it, and I can direct it like through my hands and through my
okay.
feet in certain areas.
Wow.
What I was
So do
talking
you
about
actually
this,
literally feel it like an energy wave, like like
yeah,
like when you shake a carpet and it runs through the body?
yeah.
Wow, interesting. But what was the
So,
butt to this?
pardon?
It sounded like there was some kind of a butt attached to it.
Oh, there's no but
Oh.
what I was saying is the waves that come over, the energy waves that I'm talking about are when I am aware of the energy within my body and I direct it and I can have it go up and down. It's like a tingly and it waves. I want to be able to intentionally and deliberately understand the energy, connecting it to, for lack of a better word for me, the mood that's being set. So
Ah.
most of my time, I am very positive, very youthful, have a lot of fun, very happy. And then all of a sudden, going back to what I was talking about, I have wave, to me, that's energy, a wave of energy that somehow comes over me. And so my thought is, if
Uh,
you have trauma, for example, that trauma can get that energy that was associated with that, or the memory even that's associated with it, could it get trapped like
Oh, yeah.
within your tissues and your muscles? And
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Oh, totally gets trapped in the tissues. Oh, undoubtedly. Yes, absolutely. No
so I
doubt about
feel like this exercise could help me
it. Yeah.
because in the old story, even if it didn't happen or not, the fact that it's still an old story that I'm aware of,
Why?
the
Why?
trauma,
It
it
makes no difference if you're aware of the story or not. It's what's locked in your body. It,
right,
it makes no difference whether you knew what happened, if you're aware that was happened, if the time you were in a blackout makes no difference. So yeah,
right.
point though, whether you remember or not, in this particular technique makes no difference. That's the magic of it. That's
Well,
what's
I know, but that's what I'm understanding. That's what
yeah,
I think I'm just wanting confirmation that
yeah,
I'm understanding this correctly, that this exercise and this practice, if I perhaps made it a daily practice, we could like really get into those muscles and
yes,
tissues and
yes,
whatever's, and then these waves of unexplainable, this isn't me, energy
ah,
won't be there anymore,
gotcha.
right?
Now, those waves that come over you, sorry, you kind of didn't finish the sentence, it seemed like. You said, I'm
Okay.
feeling okay, and then suddenly this waves comes over me. And by implication, it changes your mood.
Yeah, it does.
Ah, you didn't say that specifically. Okay, so yeah, I need detail, Donna. I need detail. I know you're kind of reluctant to go into detail because you think like you're taxing my listening or whatever, or those listening to you. But no, detail is cool. Go into as much detail as you need to. It's very cool. Kind of shift that idea of the detail. We love
Well,
the detail.
it seems as though when that wave comes over, the pattern that's consistent brings out an insecurity and a self-doubt. Those would be the
Ah, wow,
two things.
wow.
So I
Ah,
don't have to experience situations that trigger
right.
those
It just happens.
feelings.
Yeah.
It just happens. And then sure enough, it'll match up with then what's going on, the opposite thing again.
Interesting.
So I get this, everything's great and there's no circumstance that would make me
Right.
feel
Right.
that. And the wave of energy will come over me.
All right.
And then I'll focus on it, of course, because I'm like,
Yeah.
why is this happening? There's really no reason for it. And then I'll focus on it from okay, I'm just going to let it simmer. I'm just going to let it flow through me. And I'm trying to come up with an effective way not to even have it very much
Gotcha.
anymore.
Well, not necessarily. Let's perspective shift on this. Let's look at it from a different point of view. Let's
Okay.
let's first take your assumptions here. Okay, you're happy. The wave comes and it brings up feelings of, you said, self doubt and
Insecurity.
insecurity. Okay, so now that wave becomes associated with negativity, right?
Right.
Right. But that's an assumption, right? Now, well, you say,
Right.
well, but I was feeling good. Now I'm feeling crap. What if now let's take this from a hypothetical point of view. Let's assume, just for purposes of our argument, hypothetically, that you, Donna, are instituting this wave deliberately because it's a good thing. So, oh, how the fuck is this good now? I was in a good mood, and then I'm bringing this shit in because
Right.
you might know in your subconscious or whatever you want to call it, right? Let's just call it subconscious for now. Your subconscious knows that, okay, yes, you're good, but it's an overlay and there's shit inside you that in the longer term needs to get dealt with at some point. It's just the good feeling is a surface overlay. And here you've got the stuff that's inside that at some point in your life, sooner or later is going to have to get dealt with. So the wave is to bring it out. And since you are in a high energy space, now's the time for you to deal with it because you are in a good high energy space. You don't want to bring that stuff out when you're in a low energy space. That's going to make you, if you're already low, it's going to make you depressed, right? So now's
Right.
the opportune time for you to deal with it. So next time this happens, think, hey, thank you, wave. And now treat it as a gift, as something like, okay, now let me get into this. Let me feel it. Let me see where is this stuff stored? Where is this locked in? And utilize it as a positive gift. Change the underlying assumption. In other words, apply association management and reassociate the mood and the feeling and the assumption that this is a negative to a positive, and then see how is it a positive. When we assume something is positive, it shifts our entire confirmation bias process, and we start looking and finding the positive, and then and it all works. And even if it wasn't positive, we can actually transform it into positive.
Okay. So can we like actually do this exercise?
Right, like right now, you mean?
Well, no, maybe at some point.
Oh, sure, we can do it
Like
right
I
now
don't
or any
really
point. Oh,
know.
absolutely.
I do know how to meditate. I do know how to focus in on how my body is feeling internally. That is something I've been doing for a very long time.
Right.
But from there, I'm not sure what to do.
Okay. So, what time do you get up in the mornings?
About 5.
5. That would be 3 my time, right?
Yeah,
All right. And then do you do any meditation in the mornings before you go to work or no?
I do sometimes, not
Ah,
every day, but sometimes, yes.
okay. Okay. So what are the other times that you meditate in generally?
I generally meditate at night
Ah, you
after
then.
I come from work.
Oh, okay. Like this time, then, in other words.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, then we can do it at this time. You know, we don't have to do it today, but whenever you want to, you just say when. No problem with me. You know, I was just thinking in that morning time, that would be a good time for me actually, because then I'm really focused on it. Like now, I've kind of I'd have to really slow down, and typically I do this meditation before I go to sleep and when I wake up. Well, I know I try and apply it throughout the day. Like when I'm talking to you, I sometimes will make it if I remember to do it. I'll start to feel that, especially if I'm listening, and I do it. So I don't know, maybe sometime you'll see my posture change a bit. I'm trying to feel those feelings and implement them in action. But yeah, we can do this anytime. But I mean, if you wanted to, that's what I was trying to say. If the mornings do work for you, also, um, I could leave the Zoom on, and you just come on, and then you just kind of shout at me till you wake me up. So no problem. Oh, I'll just
I'm
go
not
back to
gonna
sleep.
wake you up at 3 in the
Oh,
morning.
actually, I'm typically awake at 3 in the morning. Like this, I actually
Yeah, me
looked at
too.
the time. I go to sleep and then I wake up in that. And I don't know. I've been seeing this on the internet. They call it the spiritual hours.
Right, right, right.
So
I wake
apparently,
up at
this is
that time
something
too.
that happens to spiritual people. You wake up at between 3 and 5 in the morning. So, so it's not a problem. I'm typically awake anyway and doing this exercise right then. So I don't know. Maybe if you come on and you'll see me sleeping there. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't have my finger in my nose or something. I don't know. I don't really care.
Um,
But I'm
do
saying
do you have
and then do it then, because
feelings?
this is a very potent thing to do, and I'm very interested to explore this more fully, because this is a big deal, and I really feel that there's a hugeness involved if we can figure out how this works in a way that's communicatable. And I do feel that if there's some collaborativeness with this, it will go into it deeper, and it will suddenly come clear. Oh, and it'll all fall into
Well,
place.
that's what I was
Very
just
much so.
gonna say. Is there anybody in the group that would want to collaborate and like do? We could start doing it like as a group dynamic.
Yeah,
Or
I would imagine Bina would be more than happy to do it, and she's available at that time too in the mornings. Other than that, I don't know just yet where people are on there. This is kind of, I don't know. Maybe I can ask, but let's first fiddle around with it ourselves to get some feeling of what's involved and how we go and develop a bit more language and that. So that's the other point, is to get some commonality of language would be really cool. So I'll ask Bina, but again,
well, it goes to the heart of energy beings, if we're truly energy beings. And I don't know, I just have this fascination about as you become more spiritual and more aware, like I have felt changes in my posture, my body, and I feel like even my vision as I've gotten older is gotten better, which makes
yeah.
no sense.
No, it does. It
And
makes sense. Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
and my aging is like reversing.
yeah.
I'm looking younger instead of
Oh,
older,
yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
I'm extremely strong, like I shared with you, like
Yeah,
Olivia is
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So there's a lot of things that aren't really
Right.
sensible.
Right. Donna, as we lose self-importance, we look younger.
Ah,
That's it. Very clear, direct thing. So, yeah, big deal.
well, how about then? Let's take this. This all this all fits into Health Oasis in the city, what we're talking about, and the things that come in relation to Health Oasis. But if, as an energy being, you're carrying light, and I do ponder the question of, like, if a physician were to take X-rays or they were to draw blood, I feel like there's certain things that would come out differently in your tests.
Sorry. One second. Mysterious visitors. I'm very curious, but I can't be openly curious. Now, I'm just curious. I like to see what's going on, but I can't go and look. I don't know why. But who knows, Donna? Mysterious happenings. So I'm just looking to see if I can see what's going on. So anyway, I can't.
Olivia has somebody there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sometimes I can see, but the blinds aren't open enough for me to see. On the door, it's open and then it's halfway through. No, there she's gone now. The mysteries of angels. Who the hell knows? Sometimes I just gotta be the dog and I just gotta stay in my kennel. That's all. Too funny. Anyway, I was just curious. We're talking. Oh, I do hear you, and I do agree that I do think that this stuff will show on scans and that radar and whatnot.
well, and the other thing
Radar
is,
X-rays.
I experience between like one person some energy exchanges that are just off the charts. They're just
Wow.
very, very unusual.
And what do they say?
What's that?
What do they say about the energy? Have you mentioned it to them? The people that.
Oh yeah, we talk about it all the time.
Oh, is you in regular contact with them?
Yeah.
Oh, and what do they say? They feel it too?
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's very cool. That's very cool.
Yep. And then like even experiences with a hairdresser that does my hair, we have energy exchanges, like even when he's washing my hair and stuff, where there's like tingly stuff going on and he feels it too. And in yoga, when I'm at the end, when we do meditation, some of the yogis put their hands like on your third eye area, or they'll lightly press your shoulder. And there's literally energy that tingles, like goes straight through my body.
Wow. 2 points I want to make mention: intent, and then I'll come back to intent in a moment. But the other one is, in this process of feeling the body, right, and feeling the moods. Okay, like now I don't feel any particular expression or mood or energy in my face. But as I start to do this, I feel really crappy feelings sometimes, and I want to point this out. And this is an obstacle to those. So that we have to develop the ability to feel deliberately crappy temporarily. And you kind of have to go in it and feel it. And it's like, fuck, I don't want to be feeling this shit. Or, even having this expression on my face. But it's not an emotional, deep feeling. It's just like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but just to say, it's just a crappiness that you don't want to do. It's like, fuck, I don't want to be feeling this shit. But you kind of have to go through it to release it and change the intent, to know what it is so that you can change the intent. And this is, initially, it's kind of a blockage that we might not want to go in these things because you have to feel it to change it, you see. So we have to just realize that this is part of the process. You have to kind of get inside it and kind of feel it, and then you change it. And here's the key. This entire exercise, it's not one of paying attention to the physical tensions and stresses and feelings in the body. Yes, it is that also. But if you don't combine all of this with intent, the whole thing disappears and it really becomes a whole different other exercise. It is an exercise of intent. It's the deliberate application of intent. It's the feeling of intent. It's the understanding of intent. It's the connectivity to it. It's all about intent.
Is that like my intent that I set often is literally to be uplifting energy when I say those words.
Yes. Okay. So here's the key. All right. So take what happens when you undergo trauma, right? What happens in that experience that you're experiencing trauma of whatever kind? What is your body intending at that point in time?
I feel is escape.
Fuck off. This is wrong. You see my point? Escape.
Right.
I'm saying those, yes, you might be experiencing pain, but your intent is typically one of no, how do I get out of this? How do I stop this? This is the intent, yeah?
Right.
It's slightly different to the pain or the uncomfort or the emotional upset or
I see what you're saying.
There's a difference. In other words, when a children sees the parents arguing, what is their intent? Their intent in the body is, I want to get them together. Please stop arguing. Please stop arguing. It's a different intent to the feeling of what you're experiencing in the moment of being uncomfortable and upset. Very different. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So this is why the stuff that stays in the body, because you're not still experiencing those feelings,
Right.
right? So they come and they go, but the intent stays. That's why this is an exercise of intent. When we understand that when our reaction to trauma and stress always results in some kind of an intent, like even if that intent is just no, 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 stop, 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 or fuck, this is crap, this shouldn't be. You know what I mean? That's an intent. This shouldn't be becomes an intent. This is wrong. That's an intent. See what I mean?
Okay.
Very powerful. So that's what I'm saying. All of what we're talking about here, it is totally, utterly intent centered. It's entirely understanding. It's the world of intent within the body. Very, very powerful to understand that this is first, foremost, and last. It's every single thing about it is intent. That's why it's not about relaxing the physical muscles. That I can do, like I told you before, and that just went nowhere. It was just a waste of time. It didn't result in anything. Or, I can direct the energy to feel the pulsing or heat. That does nothing as well. The only time I get results is when I start to change the underlying intent specifically.
Why do I have different energy exchanges with different people
That's
if the
fascinating to
intent
me.
is the same?
Uh, it, if what intent is the same, sorry.
If the intent is to have energy exchanges with people that are uplifting and positive in nature, that intent never changes. That's my intent every day. I
Right.
literally want
Well, you're
energy to
asking a question
feel,
and answering it all in the same sentence.
but it's different. The intent's the same, but the actual feeling, the tingling, the sensation, the direction of the energy is different from,
Your intent is to have a positive energy exchange, yes?
yes,
Did you specify in your intent that it has to be precisely the same exact positive energy exchange? No.
no,
Well, there you go. So they're all positive energy exchanges, aren't they?
yeah.
Well, there you go.
But some are like super intense.
Well, it depends on the energy level of the person involved. I mean, I'm trying to understand why the assumption that they all should be similar. It
I don't,
doesn't stand to
I don't
reason that.
know.
Oh,
I just like a lot in general are good and there's good energy vibes going on.
uh-huh.
And then there's just there's two couple people that the energy is
Not so
different
positive.
in extent and intense. Oh, it's positive, but
Oh,
it's more intense. And then there's one person that it's super positive, but it's super intense. And
huh.
it's like this flow that's
Right.
just very, it almost feels like we're one. The flow
Wow. I'm
just,
trying to understand why this is sort of problematic for you.
oh,
Why
it's
would that
not. I
be?
just want to
Oh, oh,
understand.
oh. But what's to understand? People are different.
I don't know. Maybe I
We-
just make a mountain out of a molehill
Yeah, it
sometimes.
seems like it a little bit because, I mean, if you sort of say, well, isn't it kind of a that you would experience different energies from different people? Because here's the thing, right? So when you're feeling this energy, just from a pure physics point of view, yeah, wouldn't this be a matter of resonance?
Yes.
All right. So people are pushing out energies. You've got an energy. You vibrate and fibrillate at all these different frequencies, and your personal frequency. It's a very unique, particular composition of all of the stuff. So of course, those that are going to correspond and resonate, and the intensity, it's how similar their frequencies are to yours to give you that amplitude, right? How many of your frequencies overlap with how many of theirs to give you that amplitude, and that's just going to vary as people vary. So it's pretty cool.
I get that. I'm not really saying that. I get
Oh,
that. I get everything you said. Let me try to articulate it better.
yeah.
There is one particular person that the frequency of the energy seems to match
You're right. That makes sense.
perfectly. And it's very intense and it's a very like energetic match and synchronicity. And it's like we dance together energetically. It's just a total, it's beautiful. It's
Wow.
magic.
Wow. Yeah,
I
but
just
where's
I
the
just
but?
wondered why that was. Why?
Why isn't it just a gift from the universe, Donna?
Yeah.
I mean, you intended it and you got it, and there you go. Thank you. Enjoy it, and thank you. At some point, we got to just say, okay, thank you, and I'm going to enjoy it. At some point, the why becomes redundant, no?
You're right. I need to be reminded of that, I think, sometimes.
It's like, duh. We got to get
Yeah,
that power word of duh, You
right.
intended it and you get it. Now, this person that you have this with, you dance with them, or what's the relationship with? It's very mysterious. I get no details here. Um,
Oh, it's my neighbor.
oh, okay. And he is consciously aware of the same thing, right?
Oh, yes.
All right. So when you experience this physicality, is it just when you sit together, touch each other, hug each other during sex?
No,
What? I don't know.
we don't even have to have physical contact.
Oh, wow. But there's a proximity that's required, yeah?
Well,
You
he's
don't
right.
feel him.
He's next door, so like he can be there, and we've tried exercises where he's there and I'm here, and we deliberately intend for
Wow.
like exchanges, and we can like I can literally feel.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So here's the thing that puzzles me with a neighbor, because you mentioned this before. Uh, I'm trying to sort of understand the dynamics of you guys' relationship. It just seems to be, despite all this magicalness, that it doesn't really go anywhere more than that, which is a little puzzling.
Yeah, it's very puzzling.
So what is the dynamic? I mean, let's get into specifics here. Um, do you want it to be more than it is now, or not?
Yes.
Okay, and he obviously, I'm assuming, then doesn't. Yeah.
We're both sort of trying to figure out what that more looks like, because I dance with thoughts of no obligations and no
Expectations.
expectations,
Yeah.
and just let it flow and live in the moment. And so I've been trying to see how that feels.
Right.
And it just doesn't work. It doesn't feel right for me.
What doesn't feel right? Sorry.
Just like go with the flow and just,
Okay. So it feels like you got to actually initiate and do something here.
yeah,
Well, good. Well, then do something. I mean, that's achievement. I mean, it's like not everything is that way. It's all about appropriateness. If this is something that you feel is right to do more, then do more. End of story. You're in charge, Donna. You're in charge. It's your life. You're in charge.
Okay, so let's say, for example, I feel as though I would like to have interactions with this person and have like for lack of a better word, a more family setting where,
Right. Okay. Well, I
where
don't
we're
know.
under one roof. However, the conventional marriage for me
Right.
would not be what I would choose.
No, but I mean, at just the start of getting into a relationship, I mean, if you feel like jumping his bones, then jump his bones, and and I'm just saying, do whatever you really feel will actually progress the relationship. I don't know if sex is a part of this idea or not, but if it is, then actually make a move towards that, and that's a starting point. See how that works. Okay, come sleep over for the night. Maybe sex isn't a part of the relationship, but say, come sleep over anyway. Let's just see what happens if we sleep together, in the same space. Now, a lot of spiritual traditions actually recommend you don't sleep next to your partner because you take on their energy, and it actually changes you guys. And it's a poor spiritual energy practice to sleep in the same bed. So I don't know. I'm just saying, but
Why?
okay. Because the energies start to overlap and resonate, and you start to lose a bit of identity, and you start to kind of merge with the other person, and that this is kind of detrimental in the long term. You lose your individuality to some extent. Your energy gets kind of confused because you're taking in these energies from somewhere else. It's like a Mac and a PC trying to do stuff together, and the PC can't really operate on a Mac system. It's that kind of a logic. So
Well, then that would that would apply to having sex with somebody as well, would it
Well,
not?
yeah, but it's not, because when you sleep, you go into different frequency resonances, and because of that, the way the body's resonating when you're asleep, you take it in, and it's because it's over long periods of time. So yeah, absolutely, when you're having sex, you would take some of that on, but it's not, it's so short that it's not a big deal, But yeah, absolutely,
Uh,
sure.
but and two, don't you sort of go into different realms of reality sleeping
When what?
when you're sleeping?
Ah, yeah, exactly. Which now again, you see, you changing, your body's more susceptible, but it's the longer term thing that happens like that. So, um,
Uh, uh,
yeah, I'll find this where it was, and it was kind of a neat explanation, and it sort of made sense to me as well. But again, my point is this, that's sort of a secondary thing here. The point is that with your neighbor, it's, I don't know, is he? I'm assuming he's single, right?
yes.
Okay. So, is he somewhat of a shy fellow?
No.
Oh, all right. So is not, if he wants to initiate this, but maybe he's picking up signals from you that are ambiguous, and he's just confused. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. So he's getting no clear signals one way or the other. So he just does nothing. Is that a possibility?
Yes.
All right. Well, then it's up to you, Donna. In this day and
Okay,
age,
but well,
too.
let's say that I want to. My intent is for us to move forward and to, you know,
Right.
even just live under the same roof and become a family unit. He has a daughter, and we have a dog that we share.
Ah, okay.
So we move
Cool.
it to that next, and I want to do that. To me, he has the other side of it, so it's not like I can just create that.
Yeah, no, I know, but you can bring it up for discussion. All right, let's assume, Donna, that you and I wanted to get in the same thing. That instead of him, it's with me now. Let's switch
Hmm.
this thing around. How would you go about approaching this? Wouldn't you just say, "Hey, Sol, I'm interested in being in a relationship with you. Living as a family unit." I'd say, "Okay, cool," or I'd say, "No, that doesn't work for me." What? That's it. Very simple. What's the big deal? See what I'm trying to say? I mean,
I don't know. I feel like, I guess I've always felt like there's what I want. Okay, let's see. Just one second.
it's fine. Take your time. I'm in no hurry, Donna. No.
I feel as though, or have felt like, through this spiritual journey, since I put so much time and energy into remembering who I really am, I
Ah.
think I kind of don't want, I have a little bit of an apprehension about losing that connection. The most important thing to me is to continue to expand my awareness, to
There you
continue
go.
to learn, to continue to grow.
Right,
And
right, right.
this is so new. I
Yeah,
literally feel like I'm in high school
right,
dating,
right. Brilliant,
and I don't
brilliant.
know how to behave because this is
Ah,
the first
gotcha.
relationship I've been in where I'm aware
Right now, which relationship you talking about? With me or with your neighbor, with Steve?
with my neighbor.
Ah, right. Okay. Well, there you go. So just going with that is to say, just go slowly. What's the hurry?
Well, we've been together 3 years.
Oh, well, in that case, and okay, Donna, I don't know what. Well, let me ask you: what's the level of conversation, communication, not conversation, communication? What's the communication level like? So, in other words, like I was saying yesterday, in this when we were talking about the related stuff, I said, who I know as part of my inner family, the ones that I really can do anything with, are those that I don't need to practice capital D diplomacy with.
Right.
That's the criteria for me, right? That's the thing that I look for. If I need to practice capital D diplomacy, then I know I'm not at that, what Biela calls the magical plane of sharing, right? When you're on that magical plane of sharing, there's no need for capital D diplomacy. Anything goes, anything this, and we not only is it that we can say anything, that's just one minor part of it, but we have an implicit trust of each other's intent. Yeah.
Right.
I don't doubt that your intent is good, and that there's no squirreliness, there's no underhandedness, there's no cockeyed agendas. That it's not that in a negative criminal way, but it's not like that there's something that you're sort of keeping hidden that you can't say. No, it's like if you wanted to say it, you say it. Okay, maybe it's not stuff that you always share because, well, it's not appropriate or necessary to share it. Okay, that's a different deal. But if need be, it would come. So we have no barriers in essence, right? Now, that doesn't mean that we resonate and that we are going to be on that frequency resonation and that we be able to live in a, as a family unit kind of a deal, right? No, it doesn't mean that at all. That's a different criteria but the first criteria though is that you have to have that purity of that deep, pure, real friendship that is, it transcends friendship. It is a direct communication and communion of spirit to spirit, of integrity to integrity, of realness to realness. If that's not there, then the rest is just going to be a
No,
complication.
that's there for sure.
All right. So if you feel that you have no, there's no capital D diplomacy involved, you can say whatever and anything, then just be real and then just say what's
But my real is not. I haven't reached clarity, and my
that's
confusion. That's
yeah,
the problem, because my
gotcha.
confusion is this is the first relationship that I've been in where I've been aware, and
Mm,
I've learned and I've grown. Even in the 3 years we've been together, I've changed quite a bit.
gotcha.
So I have this. I have a little bit of a. I want to continue and learn and grow individually,
Yeah.
and I want to share my life with him and his daughter and the dog.
Right. All right.
And
Okay.
and how does that, I literally have no frame of reference how to do that.
Right.
Where
Right.
I lose my attunement, I
Yeah.
lose my
Yeah.
connection, and
Right.
and that's the problem. And so I feel like I have to choose either a relationship that's moving forward with him, or I have to choose this journey, my
Right.
spiritual journey.
Right. Why?
And the two seem to be at conflict,
Why?
and I feel like they need to be.
But
But
why is it a either or?
I don't know. I'm just being honest with you. For some
Okay.
reason, I
Okay.
feel like
So
that
I do notice this is a bit of a pattern, Donna.
with
Sometimes,
me.
yeah, that you get into either or choices. And it's like, I keep wondering, but why you assume it's a either or?
I don't know. That's my
Right.
default,
Right.
I
I
guess.
know, but change that. And just whenever you get into either or, say, hey, where are the colors in this thing?
Okay.
Why can't it be a blend? Why can't it be something that I can't imagine at all? Okay, just because I can't imagine it doesn't mean it exists. So I can go to others and say, hey, what do you think the alternative is here? I'm only seeing these two options and I know there are more options. Help me find a different perspective if you don't come up with it yourself. But the moment you literally say to yourself, okay, I know either or is not the only two options. What else is there? You start to set the intent to look for more and then you break out of that. So here's the other thing, Donna. In this case, yeah, it's clarity of intent. I do think that you're in a bit of a square circle conundrum. And a square circle is when we want the same thing, we want an impossible thing to exist, right? A square circle, it can't do.
Okay. Right.
So you are looking to have like basically the same two different things that can't coexist to happen at the same time. So you got to decide, and in this case, to say, okay, my learning, I want to learn on my own, but I also want a relationship. Which is more important?
Why does it have to be that? Why can't you?
Precisely. I agree, but that's the way you defined it. You said it's like this either or thing, like either.
Well, that's definitely how it was in the beginning, and I am evolving to a different, and because this course is helping me, but as you can
Excellent.
see, I'm still not quite
Right, but
shifted that
so
corner.
let's just apply this from a pure strategic point of view. Okay,
All
we
right.
need clarity of intent. We need to know what you want. So one thing is very clear that you do want to want is very important. You want to continue your learning and growing for yourself, right? Of your own
Yes,
path. All
I
right,
want to attune and not lose all
correct.
of that.
Correct. Okay. So that's very important, right? Secondly, you do want to be in a more extensive relationship or more.
Right. I want a
Oh,
partner
okay.
to
Okay.
share all that
All
with.
right. Okay. So those are two things that are very clear that you want. Plus, also, I would assume you want to actually follow the path of learning and growing with Steve. Yes?
Yes.
All right. So why not do this incrementally? Why does it have to be a jump from one extreme, like, okay, I'm living alone, to suddenly Steve moves in and we're a family unit? Why can't you just invite him? Hey, Steve, sleep over for tonight. That's it.
We do that. We do
All right.
that.
So just do it a little bit more.
That's the thing that was a little weird because
Yeah.
it started out slow and then we did that and then it got shifted around like backwards again.
Then you slept over at his place?
Well, no. I
Oh.
mean, we had like about a year ago, we did it slowly and the relationship was bonding and it was growing deeper and we would do activities and he'd stay here and I would stay there. And then I was so conflicted. I feel like I was. I
I
feel like
know, I know. I'm just chuckling because queuing. If you start getting conflicted,
exactly.
you're going to queue
Then
him,
it
and then it
totally
confuses
turned.
him. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And then I cued all that because I literally did not know how to be in this relationship.
Yeah.
And I had an underlying fear
Right,
that all the work that I had done for the last 8 years and
right.
everything, I didn't want to see myself like lose that.
All right. Here's the thing that comes to me as a big issue. At some point, Donna's going to have to learn that, hey, I have to trust in my ability to create solutions. You have no trust in your ability to create solutions. You just think, I have no experience, I have no frame of reference. I don't know. I don't have anything to base it on. Well, girl, at some point, you're going to have to create a solution. There is not necessarily some pre existing formula for your particular situation. So, this is a new thing that's unique to just you, particularly your in total uniqueness. You're going to have to create a solution of your own making.
I can create solutions, all kinds of. I'm
Ah,
really
it's the
good at
trust.
that.
It's the trust that you,
I,
that's
I trust that I can
all
do
right,
it,
well then apply it then. Okay, see,
just
so
not in
all right,
relation.
there you go. So all you got to do is now do it. So in other words, there isn't a problem, right?
No,
I mean, I'm pressing buttons a little bit. I'm just
I
saying that
know.
sometimes you kind of get into a bit of a mind fuck type of a deal to kind of assume their problems when they aren't actually anything. They just say, okay, this is actually a small deal. It's not a big deal. When we assume things are should be a big deal, we kind of make them into a big deal when sometimes they absolutely nothing at all. So I don't know. It just seemed to me that you a little bit overly conscientious sometimes.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes. And that's, I
There
do.
you
I need
go. Right.
assistance with that to pop that bubble and give me
Right,
different
right.
perspectives.
So here's the thing. I would say I would really recommend sharing this particular recording with Steve. Watch it with him.
Okay.
I mean, it might be difficult, maybe awkward, but say, hey, look, Steve, here we go. You know, this is all the stuff I'm trying to say. And I kind of been making a mess of stuff a little bit, just because I kind of, it's important to me. And this is part of the problem, Donna. I think that this is important to you. And when things are overly important to us, it makes us overly cautious. It makes us overly doubtful. And so we just have to, we can kind of be counter leveraged by ourselves when things are too important.
Yeah, it is important.
Right.
Very.
But at some point, that's the thing. We just have to jump in and say, "Hey, look, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out."
And I feel like that too.
Right. It's
It's
very
not like I'm
important.
going to fall apart or
Right.
anything.
Right. Exactly. This is such an important thing. People don't go. They do all sorts of stuff to avoid getting into something that might go bust. Right. Because they don't want it to go bust. Their fear of it going bust is so great that they never actually do the thing. Now, how fucked up is that logic? You're actually guaranteeing the very thing that you're afraid of by not taking the chance. You're guaranteeing it. You don't have it now. So, but big, well, I don't want to go because I'm afraid it's going to go bust. Well, you're guaranteeing that it's a bust right now.
I really
Yeah.
don't. I
No, no,
don't have,
not you. But I'm just saying,
no.
it's the logic.
My fear and my perception is it had to be soul work or it had to be relationship. And the two were pick one.
But
That
right,
really
right.
was the crux of it.
Okay.
And
So
then I'm learning that no, I'm feeling more and more like, you know, this isn't up to the universe to decide if Steve and I should be together.
Exactly.
This is up to me. And he and I both say that.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
what's the universal purpose for us? And the universe will figure it out.
But Donna, have you considered that the universe has sent you the most clearest possible signal you can that you and Steve are kind of meant to be together?
There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, that bloody energy exchange, freaking duh. Oh, it's like, what the hell? It's like, duh. It's like, what more clear thing do you want from an attunement point of view? Like, fuck, you got this massive energy thing. I don't know, what more do you want? Like, how much more clear can attunement be? That's literally, you guys are in attunement. Literally.
Yes, literally. We are.
There you go. So now it's just taking the obvious and running with the obvious and saying, okay, hey, we've got this obvious. We just need to make it obvious. Like and that's it. So, okay, Steve, we're a family from now on. That's it. End of story. See what he says. Just tell him that. Say, that's it. We got to just shift this thing and we're going to be more of a family. Okay, this living in 2 houses, we're going to change this dynamic. Do you want to actually live in one house?
Well, here's where that underlying fear. I do want to live in one house, but it has to be big enough where I have my room.
There you go. Okay, so
to do my work.
Right. So you two, your houses, they aren't too far apart from what I gather, right?
No, he's like right next door.
All right. So why not just think of this? You are living in one big house, and you do it. You actually have what you intend. All you got to do is just kind of have it, but more where maybe you shift it to you eat more meals together and stuff like that. Just interact a bit more. It sounds to me you've already got the ideal circumstance that you've always wanted. It actually exists. You just have to recognize it and tweak it a little bit here and there.
You're right. I kind of do.
I mean, if you think of your house as, well, this big house with my own rooms, well, that's exactly what you have now. In the abstract, don't you?
Yeah.
There you go. So you can maybe shift it to say, hey, I'd like to shift it where it's like, if you want to come here anytime, the door's always literally open. It's like my house, your house, same thing. We come and go. Okay, if I'm in my bedroom sleeping, fine. You may want to knock. Just set up some basic, simple, practical ground rules and just shift the dynamic. But I would really recommend that to have no holds barred conversations. Just lay it out there and say, how do we make this practical? How do we make this work? We've got magic, and let's kind of tweak it. Let's just figure it out. It just takes a conversation. That's all. Bit of strategizing, bit of plotting and planning, bit of being fiddly with details. That's all. No biggie. Eat together more, whatever. I don't know. You could just, even without talking to Steve, you could just implement it and start doing it. Say, hey, Steve, I made this. I know you like it. You're hungry. You want to come eat with me? I want to maybe come eat there with you. I don't know. Just start doing it with the meals. And that will start making it more of an harmonious thing. And he's got a daughter, right? How old is the daughter?
10.
And you get on with the daughter?
Oh, yeah. She's beautiful.
You say, oh, yeah, wow.
No, I mean, yeah. There was no
okay. Well, there you go. So what's to prevent you from going and making dinner there every evening? Or at least most evenings.
Right.
Well, I'm asking, what is the...
Nothing.
Well, then just go do it. Life is easy. I'll bet you anything, if you start coming regularly and making food, both of them are going to be thrilled to have you there because they enjoy having you there. They enjoy you, right?
Yes, I believe so.
So, and somebody making you food, I'm assuming you're not a horrible, terrible cook. At least you can make food, right?
I can make a few.
There you go. It's a very simple, and it's a community project. There's no force. Because when you're making food and you're eating, there's never that expectation and obligation of conversation. It's very organic. It's very natural. And you say, I don't feel like eating alone. I'm coming to make food. There you go. Now you start to change, and you just start doing this on a bit semi-regular basis, and very soon it becomes a pattern. And then you've already got that community right there. Very simple deal. And you don't know,
it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be one or the other. I can be spiritual and still be in a relationship.
Exactly.
And
of course.
And I'm not sure where that belief came from.
Wow, exactly.
And the other thing is, I'm not going to lose myself because you can't. It's always there.
No, exactly.
And I now have tools that I have never had. and I
Right.
have an
Exactly.
awareness that I never
Exactly.
had. And
Exactly.
you can't go backwards.
No, exactly. And here's the thing, I mean, our interactions aren't going to end. So if you do feel like you're losing yourself, well, you've got a place to go where you can go back to reconnecting. Because you coming in our interactions, did you lose some of, like, you know what I mean? Did you lose some of, no, you added to it from this interaction, didn't you?
Well, and I'm now seeing through our interactions that's how Steve and I can be.
There you go. Exactly. Like I said, at some point, I don't know if you don't want to share me with Steve or not, but I don't know. That might be. Sometimes people don't want to share because, hey, I like what it is and it's working for me. But I see no reason why every now and then Steve couldn't be on a thing together and we can have just magical interactions, all three together. I don't know. Why not?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Right. Or share some of these chats with him. Maybe not this particular one. I know you kind of said, "Oh, okay," but he didn't sound very enthusiastic. But
Yeah, I
share some of.
know.
Right? Huh?
I didn't feel quite like that, but it's just
Okay. Well, when we have a chat that's about a specific topic, maybe, or and this is when I feel like I want to find one that you feel eager to share with Steve, and then at least kind of introduce him to that. Maybe have him go online with a course. If you give me his email, if he wants to, I can add him and he can go and do the sessions online himself and get an introduction to it. You can do it with him. That would be a very big bonding experience, and then of course that naturally leads to the takeaway sessions. I'm just saying, bring him into it. Why not? Why does he have to be an outsider to this? I don't know. Unless you don't want to share him. Okay, I can understand that. It's fair enough.
okay.
Or don't want to share me. Either way, I feel like that sometimes. I mean, I do enjoy our one-on-ones. The only one that I really enjoy bringing into our one-on-ones is Bina. For the rest, because
We have a magical flow though, don't we?
we
I mean,
do.
I don't want to be exclusive, but there is
No,
something about
no,
it that's
no,
pretty
no.
magical.
Right. So yes, I enjoy the group sessions. Like when we do the reading and all the other stuff, or the Wednesdays, the Saturday session, everybody together. They are very magical, and I do love them, and I enjoy them very much. But they're not. I don't want them all to necessarily be that. I do enjoy our one-on-ones, and particularly really enjoy them when it's you, me, and Bina. And like today, Livia came for a little bit because Donna did the horoscope thing, and Livia's kind of was interested. So she was doing Livia's, chart read. Because, Bina's an astrologer. You know that, right?
I did not know
Oh,
that.
yeah. She's actually she doesn't practice it, but she's full on astrologer. It's pretty wild. She can do all the detailed technical stuff. It's kind of fun. So, I'll when I share the videos, I'll just add you to the recordings. I'll add you to the share of that. So.
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So anyway, so we're doing this. It was very interesting and very fun, So it's not something that she pushes and propagates, and she's kind of a bit. There's an ambiguity to it because as a child, this was kind of pressed on her, and she was a bit resentful of it as a child. She was like a special child, and you know how in some places they make a big fuss and they want you to do this and do that, and you try and make your destiny and path and all this shit. So that's kind of where a big thing of it came from. But nonetheless, she's got skills, in that regard. So anyway, I was just saying that, yes, it's very special when it's Yumi and Bina, and then when Olivia comes, it adds even an extra layer of speciality. I'm keen to have
love
that
for her
more,
to.
but
I
what's
don't
that?
think I would love for her to come. I don't think she's been to one that
No,
it's the
no.
smaller group.
No, it hasn't. Well, today was just the first time that was her and me and Bina. She's, been in a one where just a little bits with others, but not with us. No, not yet. So mention it to her, So or say, hey, I want to ask you when we're on, ask her about stuff that's very specific. Like if she were here now, I would say, hey, Olivia, Donna's got a question for you about the alternative health stuff, and then she would come. She depends on where she's at. Her jaw sometimes really bothers her. She's got this thing in the jaw on the one side, the dry socket thing that developed into a nerve thing, and now so that sometimes throws her out like it did with Bina. So she had to kind of move about and do stuff to not feel the pain. So anyway, so
Gotcha.
not always possible, but hey, if it's possible, I try. But other than that, she's busy with her own thing, and I don't know. So I
So
try
when
and get her
you
more
sent the
involved.
text about the deliberate, uh,
Deliberate intending,
Yes. Thank
the
you.
physical
Gosh.
intending. Yeah.
I think you said deliberate. For the physical experiences, that's basically what we're talking about and the different ways of doing it. And even
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you mean to ask Olivia about? No, that's not the
No,
something.
no,
Oh.
no. I just
Oh,
mean
right.
that's what we're talking about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's what we were talking about earlier, right? Not right now, maybe. Yeah.
No, earlier.
Earlier.
So from an energy standpoint and from literally having an intention that's deliberate, you're creating your own world, not some outside, like
Correct.
force or
Correct.
something.
Correct. That's the key. Absolutely. That is the key. It is the deliberate institution of our personal intent. Absolutely. That's what it's all about. It is to feel impeccability, in other words, in us, to feel, to have the ability to directly intend. That's it. To have that physicality. Oh, this is what intending feels like. And then I have the ability to set whatever intent I want in my body. If that, like when I really want something, or when I'm willing it, it's a physical activity. It's not a mental thing. It's a physical. You have to feel it to make it happen. But you have to feel intent. You have to feel the intent. So yeah,
I
it's all.
really like to start to do that and
Oh yeah,
just
absolutely. Same here.
be guided with that,
Right.
to be
Okay.
guided. So
Right.
it becomes like a practice that I can
Oh yeah. Oh
really
yeah.
do well.
So I have to say, Donna, in this, it's going to be at first it's going to be very rough and very nebulous, and so we're going to be exploring at first because we have to kind of develop our own vocabulary here. So we are going to be creating this thing, as it were, right? We're going to have to
Okay.
create a vocabulary, and we're going to have to do trial and error, and so it's going to be at first it's going to be vague and nebulous and unclear. So don't expect anything much to start with. It's just the practice of exploring and sharing and all of that. So do you want to do this in the morning, or do you want to do this in the evening? The
What do you
morning really works
feel
for me.
the
That's
morning?
yeah. At 3 o'clock in the morning, that would be great.
Oh, seriously?
Oh yeah, I'm typically awake at that spot anyway. And truly, I wake up like last night. I think I only woke up, I don't know, maybe half a dozen times or 2 or 3 times. But other than that, I sleep. I feel like half an hour, and I'm awake. Half an hour awake because I'm constantly adjusting my heat. I can't stay with the same amount of blanket on me. And then I get too hot, then I have to open it. Then I get too cold, and it's just this constant process. So me being awakened and falling asleep is absolutely no problem whatsoever. As a matter of fact, at that particular time, it'll actually be kind of cool to do that because when I wake up during the night, that's what I do when I wake up. So it's very cool. So yeah, I'll just leave the Zoom
How
on.
long? How long do we do that? How long does it take?
Uh, Uh, I can do it for hours probably. I don't know. I have no idea on the time. I suspect it's much shorter than I actually think it is. I would imagine probably half an hour of this would be very long.
Okay. So
Oh
that
yeah,
I can to get to work on time.
yeah. So I would imagine 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, probably 20 minutes feels, now that I actually mentioned the time, seems like 20 minutes. Like I feel like 10 minutes, you might not quite have gotten into it yet. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But I definitely think more than a half an hour. No. So just set aside.
Okay.
Just figure half an hour.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll set my alarm a little earlier, like quarter till.
There you go. I tell you what. I'm gonna. When we finish here, I'll end meeting. Then because it saves the recording, and then I'll
Okay.
open up a new one and put the recording on pause. And again, when you come on, you just talk because you'll be on speaker. You'll definitely wake me up. So
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I'll hear the ding dong as well, and it goes Donna. So oh, Bina. So I'll do that, and then I'll like Bina. She might not be up just yet because she's trying to go to sleep earlier, so wakes up earlier. Me too. I'm trying to go to bed at 9 o'clock actually. Well, I actually have an alarm that I've had for a couple of years now that goes off at 9 o'clock to go sleep. My go to sleep alarm. It's like why only have an alarm to go wake up? Why not have an alarm to remind you to go to sleep, right?
Right.
Anyway, so I set it for 9 o'clock, and I'm trying to actually, because I very seldom do that. I've been going to bed later at 12, 1. But I am trying now, and lately I have been for the last like week or so, been managing like 9 or 10 o'clock or so. So I kind of like being up early. So I definitely make that point, and that's kind of my pattern. I wake up at like 3 o'clock, and then I sleep a little bit and have the good dreams, and then those dreams energize me because that's where we get the energy from. It's from the dreams.
I can't recall my dreams
Yeah, it don't matter
at
though. I
all.
mean, if you do a film of yourself, they see the rapid eye movement. There's plenty studies of this where they've determined that you can actually see the eyeballs moving under the eyelids when somebody's dreaming. Um,
Mm-hmm.
REM sleep, and this is where we get our energy from. You can deprive people of the deep sleep, and they can kind of still go okay, but deprive them of REM sleep, and actually go pretty crazy. Literally, they go nuts very quickly.
Huh.
Now,
Well,
it's one of the torture things that they use. They deprive people of REM sleep, and it really fucks them up in a hurry. But it's not
I
that effective as torture because they can literally go crazy actually from that.
right.
Psychotic. Yeah. So it's a big deal.
When I used to work for a sleep disorder company, and my
Oh, there you go.
sister recommended I have a study done, so I
Yeah, you
kinda
said
know a
about
little bit about that. And I swear those leads, they put them all over you, the
yeah,
wiring and
yeah.
stuff, and then all night long they're reading
Right,
your.
right. The
That's gotta
frequencies that you
mess
put
up your
off.
energy.
I would imagine it's possibly could. Yeah, I would imagine.
They said my results were very, very unusual.
But they don't tell you why. And why. Can you contact them now maybe and ask them in what way were they unusual?
I know. Why the hell didn't I ask then?
But can you
And
ask
same,
now? Can you go back and ask them?
they're not in business any longer.
But still, I mean, even if you have contact with just a person, maybe because if it was unusual, they might just remember why. And you could just send them an email or a text message, say, "Oh, you know what? I'm
Yeah, I
just
try
curious."
to do that. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
because
good at hunting
yeah.
stuff down like that. And
I
the
mean,
other was at that same time, they gave me Ritalin. I think I shared that with you
yeah,
because
that
I had excessive fatigue or whatever they called it,
right, right,
daytime
right.
sleepiness or whatever.
Right.
Oh, that stuff
And that
messes you up.
likely messed with your energy too. That Ritalin,
Oh my gosh.
it might not be the leads, but it's more likely the Ritalin that caused the problem. Yeah.
And then I got really depressed, and I was so depressed it affected my memory. I couldn't remember
Oh, you
anything.
mustn't tell me
And
things
then
about like this. It makes me sad to hear.
I went and had a brain scan done because I thought I was
And
like,
they didn't find anything?
well, they said it was very unusual too, but she
It's my joke. He's supposed to say, fuck off. I love when my jokes just completely backfire. So I don't know. It just amuses me. I had some joke earlier today with Bina too, uh, and she said something with rectify, and I said as long as it doesn't involve a rectal exam, I'm kind of fine with it. And it just went completely over, like
over.
no reaction. Like, man, so it's like, come on, like, yes, my good joke, yeah. No, nothing. And then it became funny that she didn't get it. So it's same with I went for a brain scan and they didn't find anything, right? Yeah, they found nothing.
Yeah, that went right over me.
Right. Anyway, it was fun. Olivia is sometimes the same thing, but she always says, very funny. She's got a very particular, saying, very funny. Kind of a muff tone, I don't know. So anyway, that's my corny humor. What the heck.
It's good.
On that note of humor, oh, sorry, there was something else about the scan?
Oh no, I was going to say about Olivia. I've been enjoying just what do you call it?
Texting.
Chatting.
Chatting,
No,
yes.
chatting.
Oh,
And sometimes her posts, I didn't used to get them, and I don't know why, but more and more I get them now,
yes,
more than I
yes.
used to.
Olivia is operating on an entirely different paradigm. Was it you I was talking about dog logic with? No.
I don't
Oh,
think so.
no, anyway, but there's kind of when dealing with people, sometimes you have to apply dog logic. That's it. They just operate with dog logic in kind of your business world and all that. I mean, they really do. They just operate from pure dog logic. That's it. Same thing. Same type of way of interacting. Now, maybe not with your special dog, but with your dogs in general. But to some people, there's a whole other paradigm of logic. Like with you and Steve, it's energy logic. It's a very different way of interacting. It's a whole different logic involved, right? And with some people, like with Olivia, there's angel logic, which is an entirely different paradigm again. So we just have to understand that different people, different things come about, different logics apply.
Mm.
Yeah, and so the more you kind of connect with Olivia and you start seeing it from her world, like her post will start to make sense and everything. And there's a
Yeah,
connectivity. And
it has done that. Yeah,
oh yeah,
and
oh
I
yeah.
like totally get
Right.
what she's saying.
Right. And also, her paradigm that she's operating from, it's indirectness, it's direct
Oh,
energy communication. She has a direct psychic connection. Now, that psychicness doesn't necessarily connect with me, but it will with you because you have
right.
that also. So you guys are going to have this interconnection and interaction on a whole different paradigm that's not here. And that's why I'm so keen to do it, because it's coming at the full circle. It's, getting the other end of the spectrum, as it were. Now, potentially there are more ends of the spectrum, like my circle over here. But nonetheless, Olivia and I, we definitely come at things from very different perspectives and angles. So it's very
Yeah.
powerful. And besides,
Does
just
she like do more of a like in her post, I feel like it's more of what's in between the lines, kind of.
oh yeah, very much,
Very
absolutely.
much so, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
some of them are totally cryptic for her only. I mean, her posts are like a journal, and sometimes they are kind of almost, in a way, sort of, she's making them for her and her only, and nobody else could possibly understand what the hell she's talking about, because it's very pertinent and very particular stuff that's going on. So yeah, some of them are absolutely understandable, and she's happy to throw that in there. She, yeah, it keeps people on their toes. It keeps them wondering. It keeps the mystery alive. Yeah, so she's quite happy
Nice.
with that. Olivia is just a magnificent ninja spy master. I mean, she's just like awesome in that regard. And Bina picked us up on the charts. She said, "You are like super excellently good at keeping a secret," and it's very interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'd like Bina to do my chart.
Oh, absolutely. So we'll definitely, when on the weekend or Friday, when
Ooh,
Friday.
maybe Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, because the Fridays are like Bina and Donna time, and Bina
Yeah.
looks very much forward to them as well.
I
So
do
they're very
too.
special. So yeah, Friday we will do that. So that'd be very
Cool.
fun. That'd be very fun. Yeah, yeah, that'd be very cool.
All right.
Yeah, it's
I
just a
better
fun
get to
exercise.
bed.
Uh,
It's
yes,
about that time,
I,
right?
I do want to talk to you about the flyers, right?
The what?
The flyers. That's what they called. The word flyer. Like I'll show you here. Just let me do a screen share real quick. I don't know how long you need to go to bed. Like right now. Or
No, I
do we have
can
10,
wait.
15
So,
minutes?
yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. So the
You
sources.
always make time for me. This is the
Oh,
least I can.
no, no. That's my joy. So I just want to read this to you because it's about energy vampires, really. That's
Oh,
what.
yeah, I've heard about the. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is according to Don Juan. Now, I'm very skeptical about a lot of shit, but when you said you went on those retreats and the spiritual stuff, that there's other stuff out there, this is one of the other stuff that's out there. Okay. So I'm very skeptical when it comes to this sort of stuff, just in general, because people make up shit and there's superstition and go all the way. However, when it comes to Don Juan, this stuff I take with a little bit less of a grain of salt. I actually give it somewhat of a probability, because if I take the entirety of what he says, so much of it I know from personal experience before encountering him in my own philosophical journeys and stuff, that when I
Right.
when I came to, it's like, well duh, right? So I've verified most of what he's saying independently. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
before and after knowing it too, both together. So therefore, when it comes to shit like this, I kind of give it a little bit more credibility because of that. Okay. And this is not something that's original to him, but anyway. So okay, I still, until I verify it for myself, it's under advisement. But nonetheless, so I'll just read this real quick. The sources of ancient Mexico, he said, saw the predator. They called it the flyer because it leaps through the air. It is not a pretty sight. It is a big shadow, impenetrably dark, a black shadow that jumps through the air. Then it lands flat on the ground. The sources of ancient Mexico were quite ill at ease with the idea of when it made its appearance on Earth. They reasoned that man must have been a complete being at one point with stupendous insights, feats of awareness that are mythological legends nowadays. And then everything seems to disappear. And we have now a sedated man. I wanted to get angry. This is Carlos being an arsehole again, calling paranoid, but somehow the righteousness that was usually just underneath the surface of my being wasn't there. Something in me was beyond the point of asking myself my favorite question. What if all that he said is true? At the moment he was talking to me that night, in my heart of hearts, I felt that all of what he was saying was true. But at the same time, and with equal force, all that he was saying was absurdity itself. Now, yeah, it's believing without believing. You see, that's why that believing without believing is such a powerful thing, or trusting without trusting. Anyway, what I'm saying, I'm just going to skip. What I'm saying is that what we have against us is not a simple predator. It is very smart and organized. It follows a methodical system to render us useless. Man, the magical being that he is destined to be, is no longer magical. He's an average piece of meat. There are no more dreams for man, but the dreams of an animal who is being raised to become a piece of meat. Trite, conventional, imbecilic. Don Juan's words were listening. Okay, I'm just going to skip this. This predator, Don Juan said, which of course is an inorganic being, is not altogether invincible to us as other inorganic beings are. I think as children, we do see it and decide it's so horrific that we don't want to think about it. Children, of course, could insist on focusing on the sight, but everyone else around them dissuades them from doing so. The only alternative left for mankind, he continued, is discipline. Discipline is the only deterrent. But by discipline, I don't mean harsh routines. I don't mean waking up every morning at 5:30 and throwing cold water on yourself until you're blue. Yeah, this is a stupid, idiotic idea that people have this shit with this crap. Anyway, my own personal little thing. Sorcerers understand discipline as the capacity to face with serenity odds that are not included in our expectations. For them, discipline is an art, the art of facing infinity without flinching, not because they are strong and tough, but because they are filled with awe. In other words, unrelenting positivity. In what way would the sorcerer's discipline be a deterrent? Sorcerers say that discipline makes the glowing coat of awareness unpalatable to the flyer, Don Juan said, scrutinizing my face as to discover any signs of disbelief. The result is that the predators become bewildered. An inedible, glowing coat of awareness is not part of their cognition, I suppose. After being bewildered, they don't have any recourse other than refraining from continuing their nefarious task. Uh, if the predators don't eat our glowing coat of awareness for a while, he went on, it'll keep on growing. Simplifying this matter to the extreme, I can say that sorcerers, by means of their discipline, push the predators away long enough to allow their glowing coat of awareness to grow beyond the level of the toes. Once it goes beyond the level of the toes, it grows back to its normal size. It's interesting. I don't remember the toes part. The sources of ancient Mexico said that the glowing coat of awareness is like a tree. If it is not pruned, it grows to its natural size and volume. As awareness reaches levels higher than the toes, tremendous maneuvers of perception become a matter of course. The grand trick of those sorcerers of ancient times was to burden the flyer's mind with discipline. They found out that if they taxed the flyer's minds with inner silence, the foreign installation would flee, giving to the one giving to any one of the practitioners involved in this maneuver the total certainty of the mind's foreign origin. The foreign installation comes back, I assure you, but not as strong, and the process begins in which the fleeing of the flyer's mind becomes routine until one day it flees permanently. A sad day indeed. Well, sad for the flyers. That's the day when you have to rely on your own devices, which are nearly zero. Oh, okay. Then there's no one to tell you what to do. There's no mind or foreign origin to dictate the imbecilities you're accustomed to. And this is what the way of impeccability is all about, right? Is to determine for
Right.
ourselves. Right. All right. So on this point of the discipline, it's very important to understand what the discipline is. Awe. Right? That's what he said, right? The word awe. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I would just take this to be unrelenting positivity in all its grand scope, right? When I'm saying positivity, I mean awe, I mean grace, and that's why we love grace so much. I mean serenity, I mean reverence. In other words, when we say hello world in the morning, that's,
Mm-hmm.
that's the awe that he's talking about. Now, awe is one word here, but it's that profoundness, right? And it's to sustain that. The discipline to sustain hello world. Yeah?
Right. Right.
That's what we're talking about. Now, look at this from a different context, and I'll be really quick because you need to go and sleep, right? If we look at the history of mankind, and like he says, you know, at one point you had this awesomeness and the grand old heroes and all this stuff, and then man became a bunch of assholes, right? That is, if you go back to me, it's when we shifted to the superiority paradigm, right?
Right.
Hierarchy, all of this ego, status, I have to be the top dog, all this crap, right? It all
Right.
falls under what I call the superiority paradigm, right? I mean, it's all that shit is in there. Ego, narcissism, all this shit. Now, where does it come from? these fucking assholes, right? So what they feed off is ego, status, domination. They feed off negativity, in other words, right? Because the superiority paradigm, it's a negative shit. It's always about pushing others down. It's about the ego and all that. That's what they feed off, not just the negativity, but ego negativity specifically. There are positive aspects to ego, but the negative part of ego, like I have to have stuff, all of this crap, that's what they're feeding off, right? So when we have awe and unrelenting positivity in our positive sobriety, in that grace, this is the antithesis of the superiority paradigm, right?
Right.
In other words, nobility is another word for what we are talking about, right? So the discipline to maintain our nobility of soul, to have that nobility of soul, is precisely the exact opposite and the most unpalatable possible thing for the solstice. A noble soul and the superiority ego, BMN, narcissist crap, two different extremes, right? So this is what they feed on. We can see if you look at back at mankind, this is the entire paradigm, right? This is what's being propagated and promulgated. And when he says the imbecilities that people come about, there you go. That's all it's about. The imbecilities are always about ego and status and racism, bias, all of that shit. It's that same superiority paradigm. So what we do, we have discipline in applying the exact opposite, which is the noble ideal. Yeah.
When it becomes you on a consistent basis, those
Exactly.
energy
Exactly.
flows
Exactly.
aren't going to. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. So for me, one of my particular disciplines is to say hello world. I even sing it. I just go hello. It's only two words to the national anthem of Nobilia, and that's hello world. That's the entire. You got to sing it in all the different positive moods that you can possibly do. And hello, hello world, hello world, hello world. I don't know. However many variations you can sing it in, that's the national anthem, right? But I also will I'll walk past the window and I say hello world. Or I'm just not even looking outside, but I like to look outside because I have that connectivity. So I try and say hello world on a very regular basis to maintain. It's not the saying of it that's the key. It's to maintain the mood and the feeling, not to slip into that. Because you were saying shit that comes from outside. Well, this could be it. Now, I don't know if this is them, but in my point of view, just as a scientist, right? In nature, stuff feeds off free energy. We actually are radiating free electromagnetic energy. That's it. I mean, this
Right.
is just a fact. The fact that there isn't something feeding off it would be surprising, right? Because all of nature, whenever there's free energy, something's feeding off of it. So the likelihood of something feeding off our free energy, now whether they came from elsewhere or not makes no difference. Maybe they just evolved to feed off our energy at some point. They don't have to necessarily come from elsewhere. My point is that it seems likely that somebody would be feeding off of the energy that we radiate, right? That seems likely. So, and again, if they are actually able to tap into your thing, they could very easily create an amnesia of it. Or I feel in my sleep, I actually have gotten to the point where I almost resent going to sleep. I don't want to go to sleep. But
Mm.
now I just got an idea here. That resentment and that uncomfortable with the sleep feeds them. So I have to shift the sleep. I have to go to
Right.
sleep as being this profound, magical, noble act, and change sleep to be filled with this discipline of awe and magic and wonder and nobility and positivity, so that, hey, I become unpalatable. Because I will wake up in the mornings with a fucking expression on my face that's not me. Every morning, and I have to undo it every fucking morning. So, something to think about. There is a definiteness to this in some way at all. I just want to
Well, I
put it out
wonder
there.
too if you're like really high energy, like if that's not like you're beaming out light, if that doesn't like attract a moth to moth will
Yeah,
come
but
to
here's the
light.
thing. In these particular flyers, though, if you think of the energy that's been radiated by mankind over the millennia, right? It's a particular energy frequency. So any creature that when you look literally at things that attune
Oh,
to
I see what you're
energy,
saying.
they become more and more attuned to that energy because it can. So that's what's the bulk of it is that. So they learn to feed off that because that is 99% of the energy that people. It's fear, it's resentment, it's
Right.
self-doubt, it's all of the shit. So that's why it works. It's not energy in itself, it's that particular frequency of energy.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense because
Well,
that's
and
nature. You adapt, you evolve to fit the energy pattern, right? So
here's an application of what you're saying too. the experience that I had. Did you see that of when I was at that retreat weekend?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
weirdness?
yeah. That's what made me think of this, because
Right.
you basically heard or saw a flyer. That's the point exactly. That's sorry, I forgot that's what made me connect to this. That's why I said I brought this up, and I wanted to talk to you about flyers, because to
It
me,
was very, very real. There
there
is
you go.
no doubt in my mind.
Right. I mean, to
It
me,
went pitch
yeah.
black, and you could hear the wings flapping and this
Right,
loud,
right,
screeching, creepy noise that a
right,
bird makes.
right. Right. Now, I don't know if he says but he don't want a fear. He actually sees it here somewhere. So, um, he has some experiences with these flyers, Carlos. Now, of course, these things, you're perceiving energy and it goes through your filter. So different people and
Right.
perceive it differently. Like Don one says, it's also when they have total silence, they can perceive energy directly, but then they have to retranslate it, and it's always a more or less. And they say, well, it's kind of what it's. But when you actually see it, it was a big shadow compared to dark, a black shadow that jumps through the air. Then it lands
Yeah,
flat
I
on the
never
ground.
saw it. I just
Right.
heard it.
Exactly. So there you go. Again, how we perceive these things goes through our filter. And so, but
Yeah.
that definitely sounds like that was it to me, you know. But here's the other thing too, right? He's making the point that we are actually being raised by them in a way. We're being farmed, right? So that they have an influence on your psychology. And if you think of all the shit that comes up, like how you argue when you don't want to argue, how you get annoyed and irritated, it's like, man, this is like the default. You're doing it whether it comes from elsewhere. If I really pay attention to this, and I do, and I have said, I said, I don't want to get annoyed, and I get annoyed any bloody way. It's like, they're pressuring you to feed them. And if I'm a farmer and I'm getting a particular energy that works well, and I've now evolved to that, I'm going to make every effort to elicit that particular energy even more. It only stands to reason, right? It's just a natural evolutionary process. There's no
Right.
magic or magic to this. So it just makes sense. And since, when you look at caveman and all, primitive societies, which are basically just like animal, like apes or lions or whatever, it's hierarchy, it's chicken mentality. That's the logic. So it's just a little bit more so in humans, because they more deliberately
Well,
specific.
what would be the practice when you have that energy coming over you, for lack of a better word? Like, what could I
Awareness.
actually do in that situation to
Awareness.
nip it?
Yeah. To deliberately feel the way you want to feel, to deliberately feel positive. And one thing you can do right then, hello world. That's it.
Okay.
Right in that moment, hello world. As a matter of fact, I'm setting my intent now to hello world in my dreams.
Yeah, that's a good intent.
That's very specifically. I just
I'm
this
I'm
now.
anxious
That,
to hear how your
man,
best
I
is.
wanna, and it's not. Listen to the words that I said very specifically. I want to just repeat them. I don't want to say it the other way. I want to hello world in my dreams. I'm saying it very deliberately. I'm not omitting something here. I'm saying it specifically in that way. I want to hello world in my dreams. In other words, I want to take the underlying intent of hello world. Whether or not I'm using the words themselves or not doesn't matter. I want to hello world. In other words, push profound, sublime, magical, noble, serene, reverent grace energy. That's what hello worlding is, right?
Right.
The action of hello worlding, it is a connectivity to the most sublime superlative of energies, moods, and everything, right? It is the very opposite of crappiness and negativity and hierarchy and ego and status and shit. Because when I'm saying hello world, it totally, totally, totally just takes my ego completely away, right?
Right.
Because it's a greeting to the world. It's not just saying the words, it's a greeting, right? I'm greeting. It's an act of greeting. And when you greet something that profoundly, you cannot possibly have any ego. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You're just a absolute, you're just a being. That's it. You're not a nothing in the negative sense. You are just, you know, you're just a being, and you're greeting this profound, massive hugeness. So ego is just completely out of the picture, right?
Right.
And that's why I'm saying I want to hello world in my dreams. Hello world here being a verb. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like that. Yeah. That's very powerful. Yes?
Yes.
Like, in other words, but also whenever you any kind of oddity comes in your day, realize, flyers, fuck you, flyers. And don't say fuck you, because that feeds them too. Say, okay, nobility, grace, serenity, hello world. So whenever anything comes like that, do not get resistance, because that resistance in combating it feeds it too, right? So we have to do kind of the opposite, and we have to shift into the noble ideal. In other words, we have to hello world. That's the remedy. And I do think that when we actually literally say hello world and we greet the world, I at least I hope so. I feel like at that point, maybe the world gives us something back and assists us in this task. You see what I mean? So we kind of lend from the world's energy, or at least tap into it, connect to it in some way. I don't know. Or if not, if nothing else, maybe just on a pure scientific way, we kind of start resonating more with the world, the magic world, the Gaia's frequencies rather than our own. Yeah. So I don't know.
Right.
So that might also be a way, and from what this logic is here, that change of our resonance is what puts them off and makes it unpalatable. The key here is to be disciplined with us. So his wording is a little bit off here. It's not, he shouldn't say discipline is what puts them off. It's to be disciplined with profoundness or sublimeness or nobility. That's the key. It's not discipline itself that puts them off. It's to be disciplined with the antithetical energy to what they feed off, which is profound positivity. Let's just call it that, right? Or say nobility, grace, any of the superlatives you choose, right? I like nobility. It's kind of like the epitome, you could say.
All-encompassing.
Yeah, because the opposite of ego and hierarchy and superiority paradigm is nobility. Yeah?
Right.
So that's it. So whenever this shit comes, it's not to say fuck off, no, but to say, okay, I'm going to go in my noble spirit, my noble thing. So it's always to default to that most profoundness of nobility. And that's it. So very exciting, very exciting. All right, let's go sleep on that note. And nobility of to hello world in our dreams. Yes.
Hello world in our dreams. I like it.
And here's the thing too. When I wish people good night, I always say dream awesomely or dream splendidly, dream magnificently. I try and add some superlative in there, just as a reminder to dream differently, which is actually, I always said that, and now that I realize that that's kind of what I'm doing, is I'm saying dream in a way that's doing this. I didn't realize I was doing that. I just wanted to put some unusual anomaly connectivity to dreams so that you kind of remember to dream and be aware of your dreams and to dream positively. So I know, but now it takes on a special significance. But now I'm going to say, hello world in your dreams, or dream of nobility. I will shift it slightly to add this more specifically. But you and I, since we have this hello worlding in our dreams, we can remind each other, okay, good night. Don't forget to hello world in your dreams.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, very good.
I like that. So we'll continue to remind ourselves so that the perpetual constant emphasis and reminder, it builds up over time. For me, anyway, with my dreams,
right.
I've done aware conscious dreaming where I can okay, I'm looking at my hands. Yes, I'm aware that I'm dreaming, but I literally had to remind myself to do that every single second of the day for a couple of days running. It took an inordinate effort of this profound discipline and concentration. It was unbelievable. I mean, and then I did it a couple of times. So I know I can do it, but the energy was So, but I do know that you can influence your dreams, but this is a very profound intent. And I'm saying specifically in those words that I'm setting the intent to hello world in my dreams. And I'm kind of keen to hear you say the same in those words. So what's your intent when you go dream, Donna?
My intent is to hello world in my dreams.
There you go. When we actually say it, it becomes a difference. You know what I mean? And when we say it with that feeling, and that's part of our meditation, is to hello world in our meditation too, in that feeling. So very powerful, very powerful.
Sounds good.
Brilliant.
I'll see you in the morning.
I just love this. Oh, so good night, Donna. So good night. What magic. What magic.
It was magical.
Tomorrow. Yeah, see you tomorrow.
All right.